Hey, in John chapter 9, Jesus is walking along with his disciples, just taking a little road trip, and they see a blind man. And the disciples start asking Jesus questions. Why is that dude blind? Is it because he's a really sinful person? Is there a lot of sin in his life? Or maybe his parents are sinful. Maybe they've done something and they've ticked you off, so you made that dude blind. And we always try to blame somebody for the condition that we find ourselves in. We always look around for somebody else to blame. And Jesus tries to straighten up their messed up thinking. A lot of times we think that every sickness, every hard time can be traced back to that direct person and say, oh, that person, they're not living right, or that person they don't have enough faith, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we just got to realize we live in a broken world and amongst broken people and broken situations. And Jesus kind of tries to correct their thinking, and he tells them this: he is blind so that the deeds of God may be put on display. Okay, God is about to be glorified, and it's about to go down in here, and the deeds of God are about to be put on display. And then he tells them this: whenever I am in this world, I am the light of the world. So the light of the world, he's already told us he's the light of the world. Now he reiterates it because the light of the world is about to turn on the lights for this blind man. So he goes to this blind dude and he reaches down and starts playing. He spits in the dirt. Jesus has a thing for dirt. In the last chapter, we saw him writing in the dirt. In this chapter, we see him spitting in the dirt and making some holy Play-Doh. And it's because, even in Genesis chapter 1, he used dirt to make us. It's original building equipment. So Jesus, who was part of the creation construction crew, spits in the dirt, uses the original building equipment to rebuild this man, to give him sight, to heal him. So he heals him, tells him, go wash yourself, and he comes back and he sees Jesus, and his neighbors are confused because they're like, he looks like the blind guy, but now he can see. We don't understand. And they're questioning him. They're giving him a hard time. The Pharisees come in and start questioning him and just start, surely you weren't blind. You were faking it all along. And the guy, this is what he tells him. He smeared mud on my eyes. Now I see. Okay? He's telling them, this is my story. I don't know what you're talking about. You're coming at me, but I was blind, but now I am not. And he tells them, in verse 25, I only know one thing. I was blind, and now I see. That's his story. He's sticking to his story. We need to do the same thing. There are a lot of times people will give us a hard time. A lot of times people will question you. Just stick to your story. They can't argue with that. Just, I once was blind, now I see. Once was lost, but now I'm found. That's all I know. This is who I am now. That's who I was then. Stick to your story. Nobody can take your story. Nobody can steal your story. Stick to the story. And so the Pharisees are giving this dude a hard time, and finally, they kick him out. The religious leaders, this is in verse 34, the religious leaders banished him from their presence. Jesus heard what had happened and sought out the man. Jesus said to him, do you believe in the Son of Man? The formerly blind man, I love that, the man formerly known as blind, says this, I want to believe, Lord, who is he? And Jesus said, you have seen his face with your new eyes, and you are talking to him now. And the formerly blind man said, Lord, I do believe. I love that. The first thing that this guy got to see with his new eyes was his Savior. The first thing that he got to see with his new eyes was Jesus. And Jesus is asking us, look at me with new eyes. Look at me with eyes that are changed. Look at me through eyes of faith and stick to your story. God bless you guys. Giddy up.